afternoon, YouTube. I just wanted to come on a minute and talk to you for a little bit today. I had a lot of thoughts swirling through my mind, and I thought, let me get in here and just have a little talk with y'all today. So, I have been thinking a lot about some of the shaming that is done on people that choose to only have one child. So, I'm in the comment section a lot on Facebook and things like that. And a lot of people talk about how much shame they feel about only having one child. And I think this is a topic that really needs to be addressed. So I only have one child, and I was raised as an only child as well. And I think that one key thing that people are missing is that you need to do what is best for you. It doesn't matter if the rest of the world is having 10 children, 3 children, whatever number they choose to have. If you're comfortable having one and that's what makes you happy and is best for your family and your financial status, that's what you need to do. So when I'm scrolling on some of the Facebook groups that I'm in for older mothers and things like that, and people that have autoimmune diseases, I see that there's a lot of people that are like, I'm facing all of this pressure to have more than one child. I feel so shameful about it. I feel like I'm putting my kid on earth and they won't have any support system, all these other things. And I'm not saying those aren't valid points, but I think that you really need to consider that if you know you're having health problems, if you know it was hard for you to conceive a child, then you need to think about what is this going to do to my health? What is this going to do to my financial situation? Can I really afford it? I mean, daycare is so expensive, childcare in general, and for you to have more children than you can afford, I don't see how that makes sense. I don't see how that is serving your child. If you can't afford to put 2 kids in daycare and you're having to get 2 and 3 jobs to support having all these children, but you're still going to need daycare, you're not making the situation better. And I understand that, not wanting to not have support for your child and not wanting them to be lonely. But I really feel that if your kid is a decent person, they're going to have friends. They're going to socialize at school. They can join clubs. They're not going to not be socialized. They're not going to not have a support system. It may not be a biological support system, but honestly, just because someone is your blood sister or blood brother, that does not mean that that is going to be your best friend, that they're going to provide you support. There's a lot of people that don't get along with their siblings. So I really think that saying, okay, I have to have more than one child, this pressure, you've got to take some of those reasonings out of the picture because they really don't make sense. I understand on an emotional level, but when you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. Just you can have all those things just in another way. So I get really sad when I see moms, taking polls and, trying to get someone to help them not feel so horrible. They feel so inadequate. And that's just really sad because you're a mother, you're doing the best that you can. Don't put that extra stress on yourself. And like I said, financially, you're going to have to think about childcare, education, let alone food, shelter, healthcare expenses. Just having a baby, giving birth, that is a cost. I do want to circle back around to when you have an autoimmune disease, certain ones, just having the child and getting through the pregnancy. How many times do you want to potentially risk your life? So I'll give you an example. When I had my daughter, I had severe preeclampsia. And after I had her, I was told, hey, you really need to be careful about having another child. I would advise you not to do that because if you do, you are putting your life at substantial risk. you may end up being debilitated, having a stroke. I suggest that you really not do this because you may die. You may not be here to raise the child you have. You won't be able to nurture the gift that you have. So I really took that into consideration. Because of my age, I was only planning on having one child, to be honest with you. I was always comfortable with that. The option of two was there in the background, but I've always been comfortable and felt really grateful to just be able to have one. But when my doctor told me this and confirmed this for me, I was happy with that. And I decided to have my tubes removed. That was just the easiest method for me. I felt safer that way. I didn't want to risk my life by getting pregnant and not being able to make it through the pregnancy. I want to be here for my child. So that's what I decided to do. I'm not saying that's the method that you have to do, but I like to just get straight to the point, and I don't have time for all the other stuff. Let's just get them out and not worry about it. So that's what I decided to do. But I've had a lot of people kind of look at me sideways, like, when's the next one coming, and all these other things. And I want to say to them, when are you babysitting? When are you giving me more money? It's one of those things. It's a very personal decision, and I respect how other people feel. Do what's best for you. Pray about it. Do what you have to do. Talk to the moon. I don't even know. But I feel like for me, the best thing that I could do was to have one child, invest my time, love, support, and resources into her, and not get carried away with trying to reach this number and feeling like if I don't reach this number that I'm not going to be that I'm not adequate, or that I'm doing a disservice to my child. If I can put her in a better school because I can afford to do that, if I can possibly help her through college, that's wonderful. If I can provide things that I couldn't provide if I had more than one child, that's what I want to do. I really feel that, it doesn't make you less of a woman to just have one child. There's always adoption. If later you decide, you know what, I can afford more children, and I want to have that. Maybe I'm not able to physically have children, but later you say, hey, I want to do this. That's always been an option for me. I've always said to myself, my husband and I, if we decide to have more children, maybe we can adopt, but we have to see about that. The economy is not that great right now, and studies have shown there's a lot more people having just one child. So opting to have one child is not that unusual, and there's a lot of people not having children at all. So it's not like your child is going to be the only child in school that doesn't have a sibling. I think that we really have to, look at the situation from many different angles before you decide, and try to give yourself time. I wouldn't rush unless you're trying to have kids back to back to back because you really, really have to. But even with that, there's a lot of people that are putting themselves in unnecessarily stressful situations just to reach this number. And health-wise, I mean, when you have an autoimmune disease, I'm just always going to bring it back to that. You really need to consider how much stress are you putting your body under. For me, after I went through my pregnancy and had a lot of issues with preeclampsia, which I had no idea that I was going to have because I went into my pregnancy relatively healthy. So my child spent time in the NICU. I was up a lot, caring for her there and visiting her and participating in her care. And I ended up having a seizure afterward. I was absolutely exhausted. And after that, my life has not been the same. I take medication for my seizures now, which has also changed my body in certain ways. So, I just want autoimmune warriors to think about when you're having children, have that first baby, see how it goes. Give yourself time to rest if you need it. see how your body's going to react, but don't put pressure on yourself to have children back to back or more than you know that you can truly handle. Don't let anyone pressure you. So I want to extend this topic a little bit, because I know originally I was talking about having one child and not, being shamed by having just one, but I want to go segment a little bit into don't let having an autoimmune disease or an illness in general, don't get bullied. So I know, like, sometimes when you have a disease, your partner, I've heard of this, and this has happened to me, not in this relationship, but where you're feeling bullied and not feeling adequate, and you talk to your partner about your symptoms and all of that kind of thing. And I've seen stories and experienced myself where people are really dismissive. Oh, shake it off, or it can't really be that bad, and things like that. These are things that you need to consider. That's an unhealthy relationship, and you need to get out of it. And don't add children into the mix of that. You definitely don't want to do that, and don't add more than one. So I might do another video on that separately, because I think relationships with autoimmune diseases, that's like a totally different topic. But you need support, and you need support especially if you're going to bring a new life into the world that is going to require so much of your energy and your time and all of your resources. And hopefully both people are helping in that process. So I just wanted to do this little quick video and talk about that. I'm going to do another about relationships and autoimmune diseases, because I think it's something we don't talk about, but I see a lot in the Facebook groups that I'm on. And I want to touch on that topic because it's a sensitive issue, but it's not talked about a lot. So I am going to wish you a great day, and you will be hearing from me soon.